Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Let me make sure my microphone is on. Yes, it is. Now, y'all got to forgive me here because I just got my hair cut today. So, got a little bit of, look like I got a little bit of baby powder on there, whatever he used for that lineup. But, and on hairline on here, look like Stephen A. Smith on here on the camera. I need to get the camera right. Wanted to talk about this because been getting this question quite a few times here, and I'm thinking it's because Kamala Harris is running for president, but also because of the plethora of prophetess that we have and women pastors and things of that nature. And it is a very sticky and touchy subject. And a lot of times when you talk about these type of things, it's so many opinions around this, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But what I want to explain today is the mindset of men and how men view women in leadership roles. And then we will touch on any, Bible scriptures that we can find as well, just because, the textbook of wisdom and just sharing different perspectives. Now, one of the things that I noticed that I found about women just from coaching is that not many women want to be in a role of leadership. And leadership is a broad term because I'm an entrepreneur, and the pressure that I have on me as an entrepreneur, I see women running from that pressure every day. I coach successful women entrepreneurs, and they come to me and they're like, Tony, I'm tired. And as a man, I'm tired, but as a man, we are wired to do that. We wired to hunt. We wired to go after it. We wired to provide. But a woman does not have that same wiring, but she has the mental capacity to do what she needs to do. A woman isn't wired to be a single mother. A woman isn't wired to be the head of the household. But can she be a single mother and succeed? Yes. Can she be the head of a household and succeed? Yes. Can a woman be a CEO? Yes. Can a woman be a president? Yes. Is she wired to be a CEO or a president? No. Her nature is not that, but her brain can allow her to learn how to do that. I have I received thousands and thousands and thousands of comments every single month. Like I just was looking, and I think it was talking about last week. I can't remember what it said, but it was telling me something just on YouTube. I don't know if I can find it here just to help you understand what this thing is telling me. So, okay. So it's telling me from October 7th to the 13th on YouTube, 62,100 people tuned in, and tell me what they watched. 1,819 comments. So 1,800 comments. So if we do that, 1,800 times 4, that's 7,200 comments a month. And that was a down week. 7,200. Count that now. Really count that. So I get a lot of data. And those comments are 99% women. So I get a lot of data. And out of all of the comments I've ever received, I have seen one comment from a woman that said she wants to be the head of the household. She wants to work, and she wants to pay the bills, and she wants to be in charge of earning the money and paying the bills. And her man could stay home, but she cannot allow herself just mentally to depend on somebody else. And so what is that? That's childhood trauma. It's not even really her personality. It's what she has experienced, what she has gone through growing up. And I think she maybe alluded to something like that at the end of her comment. But other than that, I talk to women every day for an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. And a lot of women who are single are crying like the whole half of the call, just crying. And I don't really feel what they are crying about because I'm a man. So I don't know them personally. So I can hear them but I don't feel like I don't cry with them. I feel some empathy, but I'm not going to cry with them. And then it takes a man to fall in love with a woman like a year or 2 years. And this is a woman he's romantically interested in. So a man, men dealing with women who are strangers, we're even less emotional or empathetic, so to speak. But I have trained myself because that's what I do every day. But it's very telling to me to be talking to women who are six-figure earners, some are higher six-figure earners, and to see the hole in their heart because they're single or they're a single mom. And very rarely do I meet women who are, the term I guess would be like stoic, which is more so a masculine term. We really don't use that term, so to speak, with a woman, although a woman can be stoic. It's as a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. Think about that. Like, to endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. Like right now, today, just today alone, I have dealt with 5 different women, and 3 of them are in a like mental health crisis. And all 3 of them are single, and only one of them is a mother and with a mental health crisis. Now, one of the other women that I've dealt with, the other 2 women I've dealt with is my wife today, like interacted with, is my wife and my mother. And both of them are 100% completely provided for by me. So, and to just put it in plain terms, just so that you understand what I mean, is like I'm there, like my mother drives a car and has a second car that are paid for by me. My wife has 2 vehicles and a home, and my mom has a home that is paid for by me. My mother-in-law has a home and a car that is paid for by me. I gave my wife $30,000 last week to just go shopping and do what she does, and I gave my mother $13,000 and my sister. And so I'm saying that not to just to be specific, because sometimes people say, "Oh, he means he talks to them on the text message, or he talks to his mom on the phone." No, I take care of them financially, and I say that to say that. So imagine, and they still have bad days. They still have their own mental struggles, and they have support. So this is where women in leadership, this is where it really starts to, it can go wrong, because a woman has hormones that a man could only, like a woman's hormones and what a woman deals with hormonally, as tough as she may show up, as tough as she may talk in the comments, what a woman deals with hormonally would be a man's nightmare. Like what we experience as men in our nightmares, it's not as bad as a woman's hormonal shift. Like I spoke to a client today, who of course all my clients have to remain nameless, and she is taking a 5-month leave from work, and it's still waiting on approval, but the paperwork has been put in by her therapist and her doctor. And because she's experienced a high level of work related stress and she earns six figures and she's not married and she doesn't have children and she is, taking that time for her mental health. And she's not the CEO, she's not the owner. She works in corporate, but and she has responsibilities and she has to do some travel. She has to do like some presentations, public presentations, and she's in a good role, but it's not like the company's gonna stop working or stop moving if she takes off this time. And so I say that to say that's a real life thing. That's a real life thing. So when we think about a woman in leadership, see, I look at it totally different because I'm dealing with women every day. And see, as a man, sometimes it does not compute to us as men. Like, cause sometimes, I see it's a lot of stay-at-home moms. And a lot of stay-at-home moms are just like, it's a lot of complaining. Like, oh, my back is hurting, my neck is hurting, I stumped my toe, I'm stressed, I'm overworked, I'm pulled everywhere. And then I'm like, but you don't work for anybody 40 hours a week. So if you're doing that bad, I can only imagine what a woman who has to take care of her household and work 40 hours a week somewhere could be going through. And so it just kind of makes me so, and I hear people talking about, like, I mean, right now we have Kamala running for office and people are talking about like, oh, she doesn't have kids. So she can't relate to this or relate to that. It's like, can you imagine being the president and having kids? Like, women who have kids could struggle getting out the bed, can struggle mustering the courage to get through the day. Like, it's so many women that I've talked to who have kids who are suicidal. It's like, I really don't want a female president who has kids, or especially young kids, or kids under the age of 18. Yes, you can have kids, but it's like that's a lot. And so y'all got to forgive me 1 second. My wife text me just where my son practice at. So y'all gotta forgive me. So I want you to understand that, you know, take all of this into consideration when you think about women in leadership, because and so that way you understand how or why you may see or sense certain things. Like, a lot of time, like, almost every woman has a monthly cycle, and a lot of women, that monthly cycle, it affects them psychologically. Like, I normally, like, I live with my wife. When her cycle is on, I don't really notice a difference. Maybe 1 month out of the year, but that could be because she doesn't have work related stress, and it could be also because she doesn't have like little children. And so it could be other factors of like having some type of peace or stability or covering or support that could just ease the brain, which doesn't allow you to release toxic chemicals into your bloodstream that upsets your stomach and things of that nature. But one of the things about it, and this is a thing that some people may get offended by, but as a man who is a leader, I would not be able to follow a woman's lead. Me personally, I like I could work with a woman who is a CEO, who is a business owner, but I'm a business owner and I'm a CEO. Like we could collaborate. Me working for her, like under her, and like taking orders from her, it wouldn't work for my personality and my mindset and just how I carry myself and how I move. Because if if a person can't like protect me, physically, if they can't protect me or like emotionally, mentally, like if this person can't be stoic in a real way, I'm not talking about like not show emotions in front of me and then go in the bathroom and just fall out boohoo crying, but be able to take those emotions and take everything that's happening in the world and not just internalize it, but internalize, then mobilize, be able to turn it into motivation. So, as a man, when all of the bills is due, when everybody has their hand out, I don't break under the pressure. I come up with more like as I was on a coaching call and created a business plan for an idea I had as I'm listening to a woman cry. And I was able to listen to her cry, help her in her situation to the point that she said, I need more sessions. I thank you so much. This helped me so much. And I was creating a business plan at the same time. Now, that's just a little bit of transparency there, but I want you to understand the difference between a male and a female on average. Not to say that there aren't women who can't do that. Not to say that there aren't women who aren't stoic, but we're talking about on average. So it says a lot to me about women in a few different ways. Is so many women say they don't trust women. So I'm like, okay, well, why? Like, why would you fight for a woman to be a prophetess or a pastor or a principal or a president if you don't trust women? I don't understand that. It's not computing to me. So I hear so many women say, I don't do female friends. I do male friends. I don't trust women. I don't do all that. And I'm like, wow, like that's interesting. So if you don't trust, if the gender doesn't trust itself, how can we trust the gender? And so that's the thing that kind of happens there. And that's always a little confusing to me. And then it's a thing of if it would be unfair and I could see it being a very hard thing for a woman to go to work and be the leader, be the boss, but then come home and is expected to be the backbone, the support system, to be submissive to the husband. That's a tough balancing act. Like even think about Kamala Harris. If she becomes the president, how like we asking a lot of her to say, "Oh, you got to submit to your husband as unto the Lord." Now, you went into the heathen church, New Birth, and got up there in the pulpit. Now, and you claiming to be a woman of faith, so you got to submit unto your husband as unto the Lord, Ephesians 5. But you also got to hit the red button if you need to let off one of these nuclear missiles and lay somebody to smithereens. That's a tough balancing act that we asking. Like that's hard for any human. That'll be hard for a man. It's not hard for Donald Trump, crazy man. He hitting there with the red button like a video game. There go a missile. The missile. The missile. The missile. And Donald Trump go on cuss our bunker. Hey, B. Yes, you know what? You skinny cow. I want to call you a fat cow, but you're a skinny cow. You know what? I'm finna build a wall on you, you bunker. I'm sending you back where you come from, and I'm building a wall, and I'm gonna call my buddy Putin. Yeah. And so he could do it now. But for the rest of us, man, we can't go home. We can't go lead no country, then come home and just sit down and have dinner. Like we can't even lead our business and go home and have dinner with a clear mind. Imagine running the country. And now that's finna be asked of Kamala. Which, if women are real with yourself, if for the women that's watching this, especially if you have kids, especially if you done been in a relationship that's been toxic, I don't want you to get caught up in the ego thing. Don't get caught up in the ego thing. Don't get caught up in that. But just honestly, as a woman, ask yourself, what do I want to be the president of the United States? Would I like to be the president of the United States? And just be honest. Like me personally, as a man, I wouldn't want to be the president. Like, honestly, I feel like that you might have to qualify for quite a bit of the narcissistic traits to want to be the president. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because I don't mean that, that you're a serial killer or something, but like, you gotta have just an inflated sense of ego to want to run an entire country like that. So when I hear Donald Trump say the stuff that he say, if on one side I'd be shocked, but then on the other side I'm like, well, you kind of gotta be like that to want to run a country. And so when you think about this, now, I don't know, maybe some of y'all know, and because I just like to, and Google is so powerful. That I'm gonna just look in different other things. In the Quran, the AI overview says the Quran doesn't say whether women should or shouldn't hold leadership positions, but some say it affirms women's rights and others say it doesn't. So for the ones who say it affirms the rights, the Quran praises the Queen of Sheba for her just rule. The Quran affirms that believers, both men and women, are guardians of one another. The Quran allows women to make contracts and bequests in their own name. The Quran allows women to inherit as mothers, wives, sisters, and daughters. The Quran allows women to choose their husbands. Some say the Quran doesn't permit women in leadership. The Quran urges the prophets' wives to stay home and not make public displays. The Quran commonly says that men are the caretakers of women. A prophetic tradition says that a nation that lets women carry out its affairs will not succeed. Some say the Quran's silence is wise. The Quran's silence on women's leadership means that Islam has given the Muslim community the freedom to decide on the issue based on changing circumstances. Some say that interpretations of the Quran vary. People's understanding of Islam is influenced by traditions and what they grow up knowing as rightful. People have moved away from their religion by giving preference to males over females. Customs, traditions, culture, and poor education can lead to misinterpretations. Now that right there, now that last piece, where's a customs, traditions, culture, and poor education can lead to misinterpretation. Because what that poor education, and I just from a Christian perspective, and I'm gonna Google the Bible, just because these are ancient texts that people look to. What does the Bible say about women in leadership? And I'll read the same things that it gave me if it breaks it down the same way. But that poor education now, before I get to reading this, it's like, now, how many of us did amazing in English class, in comprehension class? Very few. So it's people without the Holy Spirit be reading and interpreting the Bible. And you be like, huh? What did you say you barely graduated high school? Now I'm supposed to believe your interpretation of the word? It's like, okay, I see. Not that's why you think that mean that. Because you poorly educated. Sometimes you just be blown away by people's interpretations of the word. And I'm like, wow. The Bible has a variety of passages that addresses women in leadership, and the interpretation of these passages varies. 1 Timothy 2nd chapter, verses 12 through 15, Paul restricts women from teaching or having authority over men, which some interpret as precluding women from serving as pastors. Galatians chapter 3, verse 28 through 29 states that there is no distinction between male or female in Christ, and that all are heirs according to the promise. Examples of women in leadership. The Bible includes examples of women who led, taught, and discipled, such as Priscilla, Mary, Junia, Phoebe, Lydia, Chloe, and Nympha. The role of women in the church. Some Christians allow women to teach, but not to pastor, or to serve as deacons, but not as elders. The original culture. Paul's writings may have advanced the rights of women in the original culture rather than restricting them. The word of God proclaims a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over man. She must be silent. That's that 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11 through 12. So it's the thing about it is when you read through these things, you have to go and when you're looking at it with your culture, you're looking at it with your tradition, and you're trying to make an assessment, and you also have to look at your experiences as well. So for me personally, I just don't see a lot of, I see stick-to-itiveness in women. I see resilience. I see the ability to accept the hand that's dealt and get the job done. But just like pure natural leadership qualities, I don't see that. I typically see women are, to me, on average, now we're not talking about exceptions to the rule. On average, I noticed that women are more comfortable having leadership support, like having someone who can say, hey, do this, like think about this, run this play over here. And then them bringing their mind and their creativity to it, and having like a sounding board who can be decisive. I notice a lot of just unsurety in women, just not really knowing, not being able, like double-minded, not being able to just make a decision and just go, and having a lot of ideas but not really activating any of them, or activating one but only for a couple of steps, not seeing it all the way through. Those things right there are a lack of leadership qualities, because as a leader, you got to be decisive. You have to be decisive. And the reason why I say this is because I will get comments and questions and emails from women about every single thing. And it's almost like women are asking me to be like their virtual father, their virtual brother, their virtual uncle. And that just speaks to the role of men and women. It just speaks to the dynamic. Because if a woman was just out the womb created to lead, then a woman would not reach out to a stranger that she's never met and say, hey, how do I handle this situation with my mom? How do I handle this situation with my boss? How do I handle this situation with my daughter, with my son, with whoever? Like, I'm on the phone with women, helping them and giving them a plan, giving them a literal step-by-step guide on how to handle their manager, their supervisor, their boss. I'm on the call with women, and when I say this, I'm not talking about one incident. I'm talking about countless incidents. How what do you call it? Mediating with them and their child, their son or their daughter. And I've had women come and hire me to coach their daughter, and this is a woman who says, "Hey, my daughter is 15 or 16 and she needs to hear from a man." And I'm like, wow. Like, you really feel that the voice of a strange man, a man who you know and you can relate to, like you hear and you understand, but this is a child. But that just goes to show, and it's real life stuff. So it's like, yeah, we could argue in theory, we can argue in idea, but I'm rooted in reality. And so me personally, I don't really I lean to the insight and the opinion of a woman. Like, I want to hear a woman's opinion. I want to hear a woman's insight. I want to hear how a woman's brain thinks. So with everything, like right now, I'm come up with an idea. I'm gonna shoot that to my wife and I'm gonna say, "Hey, what you think about this?" And then I'm gonna hear her thoughts, because her thoughts are gonna be more analytical. She's gonna see more of the cons. Me, all I'm gonna see is the pros. Yeah, I'm gonna see the cons, but the cons they're not gonna weigh too heavy on my scale. I'm gonna see the pros. I'm gonna see ambition. See, and that's why when you look in the leading industries, like when you like what runs your life? Let me show you something. I'm gonna show you something. So we on this right now. So we on YouTube. So YouTube has a large place in your life. You led by YouTube. You ministered to by YouTube. You distracted by YouTube. You deceived by YouTube. Like, this has a large place in your life. The founders is Jawed, which would seem like it'll be Jared in English. Jawed Kareem, Chad Hurley, and Steve Chen. 3 men. They did not see the cons. They just saw the pros. This thing worth billions of dollars. What else take up a lot of time in your life? TikTok. It's starting to take over. And the founder is Zhang Yiming, a guy. This a man, founder of TikTok, owner of ByteDance. He's also overtaken the beverage giant Nongfu Spring chairman Zhong Shenghang as the richest man in China. What's another thing take up your time? Instagram. It is founded by, here December 30th, baby, 1983. 1 year, a few months older than me. It better be now. See there, I got to stop listening to the cons. See, I listen to a lot of cons because I'm married. A lot of these men, they ain't married. See, when a man not married, he finna be all over the place. He finna, like, I see a lot of men do stuff, and see, that's what, and that's why a lady told me one time. I said, women have a lot of power. She said, Tony, women don't have power. Women have influence. See, I don't create all the stuff that these men create, even though I have the same ideas, and I would do it because I have a wife. And a woman will see more of the cons. A woman will actually be more practical. We try to say that men are more logical, but we aren't actually more logical, because Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos going to the moon. They going to Mars. Did you hear what I just tell you? Like that little submarine that went down and it blew up and all them men died. Those were men on there. Like, men are leaders and can be reckless leaders. So so when you get into that place, it's like, okay, do you want a reckless male leader, Or do you want a more practical female leader? See, and that's where you got to think about it. So when I look at like the country and I look out there and I say, okay, Trump, he says some wild stuff. Like you just got to really go listen to his sound bites. I don't think a lot of people listen to his sound bites because a lot of people, they feel it's either racism or money. And I think that's all that they thinking about. But they're not actually listening to what he's saying. And then with Kamala, she sound like she doesn't know what she's saying. Like Donald Trump knows exactly what he's saying. But he can be dumbfoundedly determined. And he's such a greedy person that scares me. Because he definitely be allies with enemies for money. And for him, he's not thinking 4 years. He thinking, can I become a billionaire with hotels in Russia in 10 years from now if I do some favors for Putin while I'm in office? Can I set my family up for generations by having Trump hotels in Russia, in South Korea, North Korea, this place, that place? That's what he's thinking about. He's not thinking about you and your family. Could not care less about you. You're raggedy behind. You raggedy to him. Do not care about you in the least bit. So, and I'm just telling you what I've observed. I read people. And then Kamala, she don't have a clue. So she won't be running the country. Like if Donald Trump get in office, he actually going to run the country, even if it's to our detriment. Kamala, oh, well, that sounds good. And what I want a little girl to have the freedom. Listen to what I said. To have the freedom to have a penis if she wants to. Like, we don't want to detrimenticate a little girl's mind. Because, even if I had a penis, I could still be in this chair. So it's like, stay woke. Like whatever you do, woke. Whatever you do, stay woke. I listened to her talk, and she had the laugh of Lil Ugly. And she literally said woke 13 times in 30 seconds. And I was like, Lord, where can I go at? My wife just make it, I need citizenship. Both of them scare me. I'm like, Lord, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. If Trump get in office, it's finna be bombs over Baghdad. We finna be an all-out war. It's finna be bad. If Kamala get in office, we finna be in the grocery store, and it's gonna be men in dresses with a hole in the front for a dildo to hang out. You finna be in line and feel something hit you in your booty. You what is that, a dildo? Oh my goodness. What are you doing? Kamala said that this is legal. If I want to have this out, Ruth, they're going to be barking at you, meowing. Listen, she finna let everything go. You hear me? So it's kind of like, oh, Lord, what do we do? Like, here go the coin. All right, Lord. All right. Heads for Don. Head for Don. Tails for calm. Lord, you see, Lord, are you okay? One more time, Lord. One more time. Oh my God. One more time. One more. All right. We're gonna do best. We're gonna do best of 5. That's how people voting right now. Unless you just got other interests. It's like, but if you are a sane person, you're not 100% sold on either party. You just like, okay, all right. It's like when you take the test and take the SAT in high school and you just like, okay, it could be A. All right, but it might be C. Okay, my middle name start with A, but my dog start with a C. Okay, well, a human might be more important than an animal. But, well, all dogs go to heaven, so maybe I should choose D for dog. Well, but nah, I choose A for a minute. Like, that's right there what we facing with. And so when you think about leadership, you have to think holistically, everything that comes with it. And my thing, I don't feel like a woman is created for leadership, but I feel like she can be a leader if she needs to be a leader. Because think about it. Imagine leading with menopause. Imagine leading with like menstrual cramps. And every time I say that, it'd be somebody say, Tony, do you know that it's not actually healthy if a woman has menstrual? Well, okay, it's millions of unhealthy women then. All right, what you telling me for? I don't have menstrual cramps, but I see women laying on a cold tile floor from menstrual cramps. So, okay, we live in a processed food society. So it's not a strange thing if a woman have an uncomfortable period because we're not healthy as a society. Okay. Like, and that's another thing. Like, women be just nitpicking. Tony, just a little word of advice. The nail that's in the styrofoam behind you is said to possibly cause cancer. So I just want to let you know that maybe you should do glue instead of having a nail. Like the comments I read from women, I'd be like, that ain't have nothing to do with the topic of the video. And the other thing, and I want you to take time and read the comments. You don't get to see all of them. I get to see all of them because you don't, some of them, like certain words, YouTube will block. So people will put a comment and then they'll come back later and they'll be like, hey, why was my comment deleted? It was deleted because one of the words, it triggered something on the YouTube system. So you don't get to see all of them. I get to see all of them. And some of the stuff that just be so nitpicky and it just be so, some of the stuff be so double-minded and some of the stuff be just so aloof and it just be so all over the place. And I just be like, man, do you have children? Like, this is scary. Like, is everything okay? Like this, like that's too much information to put online. Like this, the comment section is not a journal. The comment section is not a diary. Like that, we did not need to know that. And you have your government name. We could find you on Facebook and LinkedIn. And we literally know everything about you now. And I just be like, man, and it just be so many women in their feelings. And I'm telling you, that is not conducive for leadership. You cannot be like a leaf in the wind. I want you to think about a leaf in the wind. Like I did 95% of my audience on here is women. And the other day I did a video talking about the body. I probably lost 100 subscribers immediately. And I told my wife. And then when I told my son, I was like, we were talking about something. And he was like, he said, Dad, what I noticed is the number one thing for women is their body. He said, especially with so many women saying they want like this millionaire man, this man who is a provider, all she has to do is have a perfect body and she will have the life of her dreams. Because that is the only thing that really matters to men. This is my 17-year-old saying this. I say, yeah, I know that. It's unfortunate that men could be that shallow and that blind, but you are right. And it's unfortunate. And women get upset about that. So when I talk about the body and I'm trying to give a cheat code, like this is the only thing, like you worry about how many scriptures you could quote. You worry about how smart you is. You worry about how many degrees you got, how big your house is, how much money you make. That man looking at that booty. He's looking at that booty. Do you worry about putting up $300 in your savings? If you do 300 squats, you ain't gonna need those savings because you finna have you a man. But don't want to hear that though. So I had women unsubscribing. Man, oh, he talking about the body. That's just one of the bees. That's the bee that I struggle with. And I'm just like, I'm trying to give you a cheat code. And my wife, sometimes she complain about her life of just like driving to school, driving back, and just doing all that, and doing the laundry and cooking and all that. But I earn $1 million+ a year, and I have to deal with a lot of clients and all their drama and all their stress and all their trauma and all of this and everybody opinions in the comments on with 3.5 million followers online. Like, it's a lot on my shoulders. And so when my wife be like, oh, I'm feeling like this, I kind of be like, baby, anytime you want to trade, let me know. Well, I'm ready to cook and clean. What? You finna pay these bills? You finna pay these bills, take care of my mama, take care of your mama. All that right there. Hey, let me get in here, cook and clean. If you ready, hey, baby, anytime you come up with $1 million plan, I tell her, listen, baby, listen, I trade with you now. Listen, we can't be complaining about what we got to do in life. Because if I complain about everything that's on my shoulders, listen, I be stressed and depressed. But listen, I buckle down and I make it happen. And that's why I believe that men are called to be leaders. But what happens is the adversary deceives men and makes men unfit to lead. So like technically, Donald Trump is like I've said 1% of what Donald Trump has said, and people try to cancel me. And he running for the highest office in the land. If you get convicted of anything, like in America, you can't even get an apartment. It's people coming to me talking about fixing their credit, like they need to fix their credit. I'm like, your president got bad credit. This man got to pay $400 million back. Like, this man running off on the plug. They say this man get $100 million loans and just out of there. Sorry. I'm like, your president got bad credit. Like, don't worry about it, man. If that man get back in office, listen, we ain't even gonna have no credit score no more, because he finna set it up, because he know it's gonna take time to reverse it. So he finna set it up for his plays when he get out. So no credit score. Ooh, unlimited loans. Ooh, unlimited forgiveness. Ooh, unlimited pardons. Ooh, it ain't about us. It ain't about us. It's about him. But then Kamala, on the other hand, see, Donald Trump, he more like, forget you. Kamala, on the other hand, she's a people pleaser. So I heard her talking about she want to give transvestite sex changes in prison. I said, okay, that's a guilty conscience right there. You feeling guilty because you was a nasty prosecutor and you put all these people behind these bars. So now when they in there and they stressed out and now they want to change their sex. So now you want us to spend tax dollars. Worried about the old musky man who won't him a cooter bear? No, absolutely not. Kamala, I'm not giving a dime to it. Now you finna have me out here like Wesley Snipes, because now I see how you want to use my money to do sex changes in the prison? No, let them do it natural in the same way they do tattoos. Let them get them a natural change in there. Same way they do them tattoos, same way they can smoke weed, same way they know how to make them good ramen noodles. Let them give them a natural sex change. Don't take my tax money. I'm not worried about this man because he want to be a woman, or this woman because she want to be a man. But you see, when you say the word leadership, it's a lot come with that. And if you notice, when you think about it, I want you to think about women in leadership. How many women in leadership do you really feel femininity from? And you respect them. Like, a lot of people don't respect Kamala and I feel femininity from her. I feel femininity from her. Like Hillary Clinton, I didn't feel femininity from her. Like, like think of the pastor Joyce Meyer. I don't feel she's a pastor. I don't feel any femininity from her. Think about y'all prophetess. Those y'all who be, worshiping the prophetess, and how crude they gotta be, how rude they gotta be, how harsh and just brazen they have to be because they're in a leadership position. So the femininity goes out the window. And the women who have femininity in a leadership position, they get taken advantage of. They get overlooked. They get disrespected. People just don't really. So look up the documentary Theranos, Theranos. The lady created this fake company. She did like what a man would do. Because when you watch American Greed, it's not a lot of episodes of women being like leading the scam. I could probably count on my two hands how many of them is a woman leading the scam. But in Theranos, it was a young white lady, and she did this voice thing to where she made her voice deep. And it said that she did that to command more respect, to have a presence. So she would be being interviewed, and they would say, so what is Theranos, and how is it going to change the future? And now a woman would be like, well, Theranos is an innovative leading company where we are predicting health scares before they happen. But this young lady, because she understood psychology, she put on a deep voice and she became more masculine. She would wear a suit, or like a business suit with a slight feminine touch, but it really was more masculine. And she would say, well, Theranos is a leading company, and what we're going to do. And it had a slight feminine tone, but not really. It sounded like a young man. And see, that's what I mean. So the thing about it is this right here, and everything I say, I'm losing subscribers. A lot of times people be like, Tony, why you ain't got more subscribers than this pander or this person? That's because I don't pander. So a lot of times people don't listen and they don't seek to understand what I'm saying. They listening to be offended because they have a ought against men, or they have a ought against black men, or they have a ought against leaders or influencers who don't even have their credentials, like a degree or a therapist or a doctor. So it's a lot of people listening to my videos to be offended, not actually listening to hear what I got to say. But this right here movement to make women leaders, like in leadership positions, president, prophetess, pastor, head of the household, all of this different stuff, while certain parts of it can be beneficial or what have you, or advantageous for certain groups or certain people, it's actually a movement of Satan. It's actually a movement because what the adversary knows is that households won't be able to withstand it, that the women won't be able to turn off that when they go home, that these breadwinning women who are making more money than a man, a lot of them won't be able to turn it off when they go home. And that's going to create a power struggle in the home, and that's going to destroy the marriage from the inside out. There will be some women who have the ability to go lead in her life. And get what I said now. There will be some women who have the ability to be a leader in her life and in corporate, and then come home and be a wife and a mother, or a wife. But most women won't be able to do that. And the reason why I know is because I deal with it every single day. I'm coaching on it. And women tell me out their mouth, like, I run my own business. I'm my own boss. I got to call shots. I got to tell my employees what to do. I got to tell my developers what to do, or my, 1099 or my contracts. I got to tell them what to do. I got to do this. I got to do that. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So when I come home, it's like, I just want to get this done, get that done. I want to do this. I'm trying to tell him, do this, do this, do this. So in one sense, that ambition and that leadership is attractive to men. But then on the other hand, it can get out of control. And then I've literally had several leading women say to me on a coaching session, Tony, how can I listen to him if he's stupid? Tony, how can I submit to him if he's stupid? I'm like, well, why are you with him if you think he's stupid? And what makes him stupid? Just because he'll do it differently than you? Like, the way that he's doing it, there's nothing wrong with what he's trying to do. It's just you see it a different way, but you're not willing to submit to your husband. So you just see it a different way, but what he's doing is not illegal. It's not unethical. It's not actually stupid. It's just different than the way you would do it, because men and women are not the same. But because these women are bosses in their life, and because they call shots, it's hard to go home and then be up under somebody, to be submissive to somebody, when outside of the home, everybody is in submission to them. And so that right there, that leadership, and across the board, putting women in leadership like as a norm, it's not healthy. Whereas there's always exceptions to the rule. It's just like when you look at what that was talking about, the leading women in the Bible. Oh, and it's what we was talking about, when it comes to leadership and who leading the world. Who is the founder of Twitter? Jack Dorsey, Biz Stone, Noah Glass, Evan. They don't even, these guys, when it's 3-4, it's not even one woman on there. It's like, that is showing you that men are created to take the charge, to lead. Because if that was natural for a woman, who is the founder of Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg, Eduardo Saverin, Dustin Moskovitz, and Chris Hughes. Again, 4 people, and it's 4 men. So the things that dictate our lives, the things that lead us, that shape us. Who is the founder of CNN? Ted Turner and Reese Snowfield, 2 men. Who is the founder of Fox News? Keith Rupert Murdoch and Roger Ailes. Think about this. Who leading? And the thing about it is, it's even today where it's complete openness. We're not seeing women just say, hey, I'm going to start a network. Oprah was given a network, in the Oprah Winfrey Network. And look how long it took her to step into that. And they can't even, it's really founded by Discovery Communications. So like on all of them, all the rest of them questions I had, they had just clear pictures with the names. This one, it's a little something in the water. It's a little something in the water. It's like, okay, yeah, Oprah the founder, but we're going to see who is the founder of Discovery Network, who really founded the own network, the Oprah Winfrey Network. John Hendricks. You see what I mean? So it's like, yeah, she the owner of the network, but she still is in bed with the company that's founded by a man. And so this is what I want you to think about when you think about that leadership, and don't just, especially if you're a woman, listen to this, don't lust for leadership. Don't crave leadership to fill a void. Don't, like, if you are called to be a leader, you will feel that calling. It will be strong, and you will be ushered into leadership, and you will be given the tools. You will have the emotional intelligence, the emotional regulation, the stability, the stoicism. You will have everything you need, but also still being able to be true to you. Still be a feminine, beautiful, classy, healthy, helpful, nurturing woman if you call to do it. If you got to emulate a man, if you got to become more masculine to lead, then that means that position is not for you and you being thrust into it. So you got to always think about the prince of the air. And the verse says that those who live in sin follow Satan, the prince of the power of the air. And you got to think about that. Not everything that looks good and that is all praised and all of this is actually for our advancement and our benefit. A lot of this stuff is an agenda to cause confusion in the body amongst men and women, to cause confusion and competition, because if we confuse and we competing and we at odds, like right now, we got a man competing versus a woman. And then the man is acting like an immature boy, so he calling names. They bleeped out the word, so I don't know what he said, but he said you a bleep prosecutor. So he calling names, and it's like, yeah, we raised as men, you ain't supposed to pick on women. You ain't supposed to belittle women. You ain't supposed to bully women. And that's what Donald having to do right now. So here go Donald doing this to Kamala, and it's like, that ain't what that's supposed to be. But guess what? That same thing, that is the macro of the micro. Like, in our world, we got the same little beef. Like, I could pull up videos right now showing you all of these black men who saying forget Kamala, bump Kamala. I ain't vote for Kamala, I'm vote for Trump. And it's like, but it's really because they don't want to be led by a woman. It ain't even about policies in that case. It ain't even about policies. Like, for me, it ain't, because it's not me looking at like, okay, if I vote for Kamala, I'm not voting for her because she's supposedly black. If I vote for Trump, I'm not voting for him because of money. And to be honest with you, you know, my family, people around me, like, Tony, you gotta vote, you gotta vote, you gotta vote, you gotta vote. And all y'all be like, you gotta vote, you gotta vote, you gotta vote. Got a stomach ache. Ain't better make it. Mail in. Got the wrong address. It came back. Listen, I might leave this one up to y'all, because I don't want to have the answer to the Lord. So, the Bible says obey the laws of the land. It's not mandated that you have to vote. So why you voted for this person? Well, Lord, now what is mandated is that I pay my taxes. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. But listen, for the rest, I'm Lord working on me. I don't know if the Lord working on me or not on that right there. So I'm gonna just, that right there be the private part. You know, where you keep private things private. We'll see if I vote, and we'll see who I vote for. I might get in there and write a name in there. I might get in there and write Jesus Christ and put a check. Oh, Tony, I gotta unsubscribe for you, cause you not finna rock the vote. You bye. You ain't got to tell me. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. You ain't got to announce your exit. Bye. But I'm just torn on it. But see, think about it. And now they showing, and now they literally, here go Kamala. She literally is being forced to pander because the media is saying black men don't like Kamala. But then what are black women saying in our world? Black women are saying black men don't like us in real life. So we understand why black men don't like Kamala, because black men don't like us. Do you not see the spiritual warfare in that? Listen now. See, I got to go into a space to where I speak what the Lord give me. And what you got to realize, what the Lord give me, it ain't going to make sense. Like what's put on my spirit, it ain't going to make sense to everybody. It's going to be earth shattering. It's going to be flipping tables. It's going to be light bulb moments. It's going to make you mad. It's going to make you upset. It's going to shatter some of your preconceived notions, some of your comfortable beliefs. But we going into a new day, and the Lord calling new leaders, and He giving us a boldness to speak up. So, and then two, when you think about lesser of two evils, I'm kind of like everybody saying, "Oh, well, Christians shouldn't be condoning abortion and all of this," but God don't condone it, but He allows it. It is a sin to kill, but you still got the right to do it. And then He still has forgiveness. But now, to be a dictator, to tell somebody what they can't do with their body, that's dictatorship. That's not democracy. So if one person's saying, no, you cannot do this with your body, but God's saying you could do what you want to do, but it's consequences to pay unless you repent. So then you have to really think about it. Is one party actually a party of God and the other party the party of the devil? No. Both of them is under the prince of the air. And so, and then if you vote for the person ain't got no power. The person is really just in place, but it's still other stuff got to get signed off on. They don't just get to do what they want to do. Because if they got to do what they want to do, where would we be? But hey, think about this now. And hopefully nobody get too offended on this. But God bless you. God bless you, and we'll talk soon.